Welcome, welcome all. So let me just turn on lights. So you can see. So I'm being called to make a video because some things are coming through. But welcome to anyone who's seeing this now or at a future time. Another version of the now. Welcome. I wanted to talk a little bit. There's some things that are popping up in my field that I wanted to talk about. The title of this is Disclosure, Embodiment, and Alchemy, I believe. Who knows what I'm going to talk about? I just kind of put out a title, but I let the reality streams come in and decide to play with those for a little bit. A big topic that's coming through right now, and it's being discussed by many way showers and other creators, is disclosure. And right now, more than ever, we're making more contact than we've ever been able to before. I wanted to discuss that a little bit because that is a big piece that's coming through for me, as there's aspects returning and new levels of the mission coming online and new things that we are doing. We're making contact now in many different ways. So for me, they're showing up telepathically, and I'm connecting, getting more information. A lot of us are also connecting. We're either projecting, astral projecting, or in dreamscape. We are going to be receiving messages from the different councils as far as just kind of what's going on, the nature of reality, truth, discovering more of who we are. And the biggest thing is that in this time frame is to trust. A lot of people have been getting contact and they don't know what to do, how to make of it. Is this person or is this being, X, Y, or Z? Is it on this end of the spectrum or that end of the spectrum? And at the end of the day, I want to say it's all about following your heart and feeling into what you're hearing and really taking everything as it comes and learning to be able to read the energy and feel the energy of what's coming forth. So last night was I got a little visit by the Tall Whites, which are the Nordic Pleiadians, just to kind of say hi, make the connection, to let me know that they're here, and to thank me. It was very simple. And then the other night there was some other contact that I can't really go into right now because they told me that time will come when I can discuss that. But right now, more than ever, is there's a lot going on. And that's what I'm here to talk about right now, is the energy comes through. If you're feeling energy waves come in, that's because a lot of these transmissions are encoded with energy to help to clear this. So I just want to invite you to settle into the space. Hello, welcome in. I'm inviting you to come in and to just kind of get into your center and just listen as I'm putting out this transmission and kind of reading what's coming through. So right now with the disclosure, they're getting closer and closer and closer, and they're all showing up in many different ways, and we're going to be learning more about ourselves and who we really are. And the biggest thing to really keep in mind is that there's been so much trickery, in this game. That we've been kept distracted from knowing who we truly are. But those that are in the embodiment phase of embodiment of their highest aspect, embodiment of their highest version, embodiment of any one of a number of aspects, just know there's nothing to fear in that. That's a big thing that's really pumping through the collective right now. Especially when we are talking about what I tend to call beer fear. I've decided to rename this entire thing going on. I'm just not going to say it for the sake of all of us, because all these words do hold encodements, and we don't need to activate that within ourselves. But I call it beer fear, and you can draw the conclusion of what I'm discussing right now. There's a lot streaming through, okay, with this. And unfortunately, there's really, if you are active, on social media platforms, you go out in public, there's really no way to really kind of blind yourself from it. But I want to make a really interesting point, and that's everything that's popping up in your reality right now that you don't like or don't want to see gives you an opportunity to redirect your focus, gives you an opportunity to change the channel, and to shift your focus into something that is more of your highest good. So I've noticed this because, even in the spiritual community, there's a lot of people discussing this right now. And, it hasn't really been popping up in my reality other than when I'm scrolling through Instagram. Some spiritual people will talk about it and they have some really nice insight about it. But the other day, it happened where I went into the Department of Transportation here to get my ID so I could be able to get on planes and things like that. And right there on the screen, it was like for 45 minutes every time I looked up, and that's all they were talking about. And, it was really nice because I had a choice, okay? We do have free will, okay? And I have a choice whether or not I want to continue to stare at that screen or I shift my focus. And this is something I wanted to talk about. And this is what alchemy is. Alchemy is really it's transformation. It's taking something and changing the complete composition of it. But it's also being able to get aligned with our higher self, getting aligned with the universe, and being able to shift our realities. And so if that keeps playing up in your reality and it's triggering something within you, okay? So the biggest thing for me, and this is just a kind of a personal thing, is that there was a little bit that came up. And well, just so happens that I had been ready to make a big kind of shift in my diet and really taking better care of myself, taking better care of my temple, just because of all the energy flowing through. I had a really big upgrade happen last week. That was requiring a deep integration and having to fast and juice. And so because of that, I've decided to now take more of a focus on eating healthier. This is how we can start to alchemize this entire experience, is like if it's bringing something up within you, like fear over, your health, or fear over whatever it may be for you, going out into public, unifying. Okay, let's look at that. Let's look at that for a second. And let's start to dissect that. Instead of focusing on this, let's try to do some inner work with this. And that's what I'm really trying to focus on through this, because it really created the shift for me with my diet and my health, and buying more supplements, like more superfoods and things like that, which it was actually the purpose of that was to really take care of myself because of all the energy flowing through me and what I'm being called to do now, and how my energy upgrades are working and how energy flows through my body. And so that's been the focus. And so now I'm feeling healthier as a result of that. And because of that, I'm more sure about my walk and what I'm doing, and about where I go, and knowing, okay, because I'm in alignment with my higher self and I listen to that I don't allow this noise of you can't, XYZ, and putting boundaries on me. I start to tap into the limitless potential of my highest I am infinite self, and I allow that to take control. There's a lot of beauty that can be found in this, and I see so many different perspectives that have been downloaded to me about this entire experience. And especially right now, flights are really cheap. So if you want to travel, now's the time to go travel. And what's interesting is, the world will be telling you, no, don't, because of and all the. But it's for me right now is the perfect time for me to start my leg of the journey, which I'm about to do, is to go travel. And it's really that if there's anything popping up about, the what ifs or anything out there that you're worried about, I ask you to just take a moment and to gather yourself, get into your center, connect with your I am presence, and ask. Oh, no problem, James. Just ask your I am infinite presence about is this right for my soul? Is this right for me to walk with XYZ? Is this a good place for me to go? Your higher self is always going to lead you and direct you in what is for your highest good. And so, this is a big thing right now, especially with the disclosure, especially with all of the stuff going on right now, is we can really take a moment to get in touch with our soul and start to figure out what our soul wants, what our soul wants to create from this entire experience, how it wants to move, and how we can focus on those embodiment phases, especially if you're going through embodiment. There's a lot of big upgrades coming through right now for a lot of embodiers. We're noticing big shifts in abilities. We're noticing a lot of things coming online. Telepathy, big time coming online, whether it be collective telepathy or being able to connect with others that are in the same role or in the same work. The abilities to astral project, the abilities to clearly see. And the biggest one that's been coming on lately for me is clearly seeing. But, clearly seeing in such a way where it's not, I'm not seeing beings and seeing things, not being able to, I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm being able to see through the bullshit, okay? And really realizing that not to, I've had to look at how I was going to portray this message, because I do a little bit of reflection before I come online. And it's like, okay, so the way that I want to portray this right now is because I have a role in this, just like we all do, in the organic ascension of Gaia. So while there are the media outlets that hold their role with promoting what they need to promote, and there are people that are being that very extremely compassionate witness to this entire experience, part of my role is seeing how silly this entire thing is. And, not to discount what the human is going through. So if someone out there is suffering, that's not silly to me. But the orchestration of the game itself is extremely silly. And when we start to see that fracture and give way, and we start to be able to see through that, there's a lot more lightness to this entire experience. And I invite people to really open up their heart more, if they can, to really see how silly this is. And it's, I know that there's probably gonna be some people that are like, this is not silly, tragedy's not silly, pain is not silly. It's not, it really isn't. What the human goes through and suffers through is not silly. But when we keep our focus, our focus on what is to come, which a lot of us have had to do when we were holding space, and we are focusing on that new, a lot of that focus has caused us to be able to bring in more of the love and the joy and the freedom that we're so craving. And a lot of the change is because everyone's got their role. And for me, my biggest role has been focusing so much on what is to come. Not because there's destination addiction, but because I want that highest reality stream to land for the collective. And a lot of that takes having to distract and not pay attention to the things that aren't serving me. And this is why that focus redirection is really key in being able to alchemize what's going on with us and I've talked about this a lot, what we're clicking subscribe to. At the end of the day, you have a choice. You have a choice whether you want to give into it or not. And we can all of us that are very aware can see all the many perspectives of why this is occurring across many different levels and many different forms. And the message I got from my higher self, and I keep getting, is it's really not as serious as a lot of people are making it out to be, especially when you work on your reality bubble. So your reality bubble, let's just call your etheric bubble, is what is going to call forth to you the experience that you need in order to clear and to heal and to grow and to expand. So by working on those things, when you move about, you will be able to attract certain experiences to yourself. And so for me, a lot of the clearing that I've had to do with fears and things like that is something that's been popping up a lot lately, especially since what's about to happen with the trip I'm about to embark on, and it's not really planned out. Where am I going to go? Do. But I do trust, I have faith in all the work that I've done and all the clearing I've done to be able to attract the highest vibrational scenario to me in every instance of my day. And when I'm encountered with those choice points, just like we all are, we can engage with that highest reality stream and be able to call forth more and more and more of that. And so right now, that's where the trust lies, and that's something where I'm stating this because this is a big part of the process, is really building that sacred, deep, loving knowing with yourself, with your heart, and with your soul, and saying yes to that, and allowing that to be the only thing that tells you what to do, where to go. And it's always including you in the process. Your soul is always including the human in the process. It's also including the human that needs to clear more, that needs to dissolve more. All those subconscious beliefs that need to get stripped out. It's all coming in. It's all, we're working in unison here, okay? And it's always for the highest good. And so for me, I've had to work on that reality bubble. I've had to work on building out that dimensional version of myself that I want to see in the world, so then I carry this bubble with me wherever I go, and that's what I attract into my field. And that's something that I'm stating this because I really would, I know there's a lot of people that come to this channel that have been doing a lot of deep work. And there's a lot of us second wavers right now that are being called to action, that are being called to move, that are being called to create communities, that are being called to unify. And I don't want to see what's happening in the external stop anyone from being able to go out and do what they're supposed to do. Because we've got an assignment. If your ticket was pulled recently, which is this is a joke that I have with a friend of mine, is if your ticket was pulled recently and you got that call, and you got that call, a lot of us got that call. It's time to step into the next phase. And because of that, there's a lot of unknown. But what we do is we breathe into the unknown. And then on top of the unknown, we have a lot of fear as well. That starts to come up, that's being played out all around us. So we breathe into the unknown and we breathe into that fear. And we're being called, a lot of us right now, to just take a leap of faith. The path isn't always laid out 100% in stone where we're aware of every step of the path. But if we knew every step of the journey, that would take away from the excitement of the journey itself. So it's, right now it's a very interesting time, and a lot of this is that preparation and that preparedness, okay? And what's really interesting is a lot of people, like we have, things like hearing of different countries shutting down their borders and stuff, and it's interesting. It seems like while we are being called to unite, a lot of people are being called to isolate, and I see it in a very beautiful way. I see it that it's like that fifth dimensional now, learning how to care for self and rest and take it easy, and the mindfulness approach a lot of people are having to wake up to. And because of that, it's actually freeing up space for us to walk around and to do what we need to do, such as going to the sacred sites, activating the land, spreading our light. There's some of us that need to go do that. And so if you've been getting that call, breathe into the unknown and trust, especially with the contact going on right now. We're probably recognizing some of us may be recognizing the expansiveness of what we're supposed to do here, and are getting those downloads of things that we have been called to do that we knew for a very, very long time, but had kind of forgotten about it. So for me, a lot of my mission stuff started a long time ago. The preparedness of this started years ago, some of it decades ago. I've been doing this whole lifetime training for this part of it, and now it's kind of coming to the surface. It's like, oh crap, here it goes. So if you're being called to jump, it's go time. And through this, we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, and a lot about those deep-seated fears that need to come to the surface, that we can look at, when we start to dive into the how, the how, the why, the when, the what, the where. When we dive into that, now we start to uncover, we start to do the digging of all the stuff that needs to come forward. But we can also do that while we're in movement, while we're walking. Those of you that have been called forth into the action phase now of the unification, the community building, the getting out and laying the groundwork, whatever it may be for you. A lot of times the digging that we have to do happens while we're in motion. Because we can sit here and we can dig 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 and we can dig, which is an important part of the process. But for some of us, we need to start getting into motion and allow the experience to just release what we need to release. And so right now, the big wave coming through that started yesterday that we're all clearing right now is fear. We've been focusing on a big chunk, at least my teams, and what we're working through. The big chunk is all the fear with money, and all the fear with abundance, fear of lack, all of that associated with the financial system. So right now, this is a big theme coming up, is the fear. So all these waves, we went through a big what I would call a brain rewrite over the weekend, where you might felt like your brain was getting zapped or you had really extreme headaches. A lot of this was more of your abilities coming online, a lot of decalcification of the pineal gland, as well as us getting kind of like a neural rewiring of being able to shift all the abundance and lack stuff. There's been a lot of heart stuff coming up to the surface too, and a lot of dumping of the heart chakra in a beautiful way, which is helping us to open up more, especially if we're being called to go walk and to share that heart light, you know. And so the biggest thing right now is to just stay in your faith and in your knowing of what's for you and what isn't for you, and what's real and what isn't real, what's organic, what's inorganic. All of it is being revealed to us in its own time. But for me, it's been really having to learn how to stay in the heart, which is literally probably 150 times a day when I catch myself getting up here, having to just take a breath and come back to here and live at the heart mind, and learning to build my relationship with the heart mind more, and building that connection with the soul, and allowing the trust in me and the trust and faith in the teams and the trust and faith in my soul to allow more aspects to come in and to allow more parts of me to shine unconditionally. And so this is a big piece we're moving through right now, is fear in many different levels and forms. And it's such a great time because of what's being, you know, strewn about through the collective. So with that, you know, as usual, the timeliness of this video and tomorrow being Friday, I'm going to be holding a circle tomorrow, a galactic shamanism circle, where we're going to be discussing fear. So links for that will be in the description box after this. And yeah, I wanted to invite you to come out. If there's something, if you really need to clear fear, we're going to be doing some soul alchemy, and we're just going to clear the crap out of this stuff. The layers need to go, and so we'll be going through a cleansing process and a purification, and releasing and calling forth more aspects and embodiment. And this is, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, when for me, in my personal standpoint, because I do use my personal messages and about what I do to kind of share hope, because I still have a difficult time saying this is what you need to do, because it's very kind of I was raised in therapy, which is always, you know, personalizing, saying I. Oh, thank you so much for showing up. So when I use the I statements, you know, I like to personalize my story and hope that it reflects out to someone that resonates with. But for me, through this entire experience, like, seeing everything is really deep and emotional, to see like all this stuff collapsing, to see the truth being exposed, to seeing the disclosure, more of the aspects that have come through, more of the abilities that are coming online, and seeing how other people are transforming as well. It's really a beautiful time. And if we shift our focus to all of that beautiful thing, we're just going to be calling forth more of that reality for ourselves, and going to be able to see that for more of the collective. Now, granted, I recognize everyone's got their role. You know, we got those people that are going to be digging through the truth of what's really going on, and they're going to be exposing that. We've got the people that are really focused on disclosure right now. Everyone's got their role. For me, my role is to really just kind of gaze off into the horizon and just enjoy the beauty of what's to come. And the more I keep doing that, the faster it all arrives. And it's not about that I'm distracted and I'm not present and I'm not here and I'm ungrounded. It's just part of the space holding, and calling forth that reality stream, not only for myself but for the collective, so we can all be free. And so, you know, it's a beautiful time overall to be alive. We're seeing the shifts. We're seeing it happen, and there's been a lot of messages coming through, especially with some environmental stuff that could be popping up. And right now, it's like really. The biggest message that's been coming through is Gaia has some words to say, and we need to listen. It's our time. It's our time to listen. As we clear and we dissolve, so does she. It's a micro macro, and so, you know, it's really, for me, it's been I'm wanting to be out in nature more and really listening to what's going on with her and building that connection, because that's just a part of me with the anchoring process, and really leaning on the Divine Mother to really help to show me how to embody a divine feminine aspect while being in a male body, but also how to find that balance and how to give back and to nurture her and to care, because, you know, the biggest thing is that we can there's a divine union going on within. And we can recognize that we can create a divine union with everything around us, with our dogs, with planet Earth, with each other. And in that, we start to learn more about ourselves and start to kind of weave together our reality bubble and discover more of who we are. And then in that expansiveness, we feel freer to be able to walk. We feel freer to be able to be ourselves and to shine our light, not focus so much on all this silliness going on. And I say that, the silliness, once again, because that is the way that I see this entire experience. Once again, the human tragedy, and then the humans that are going through what they're going through, that's not silly. But the orchestration of the program is very silly. And with that, it makes it easier to walk, makes it lighter. My heart's more open. And I feel a little bit freer through that. So with that, just want to come on and share that message and invite everyone out to the circle tomorrow. It'll be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll have links up in the description box. When I'm off of here, I'll post that. I'm not going to be posting as regularly. Frankly, there's been a lot of shifts and a lot of changes going on, where I get an upgrade and then I'm integrating for 5 days. And I'm being called to not be on here as much, but I'm finding ways to still reach out and connect, because a lot of this for me is now having to go connect with people in person and meet people one-on-one and go be a human. And yeah, Operation Liberation is in full effect. And because you said that, thank you, Ellen. I want to just give you a quick glimpse of how awesome you are. You are so awesome, and you are so amazing and powerful that you consciously chose to come down into an enslaved prison planet where you would forget everything that you are and free yourself and everyone from this entire experience. That's pretty cool. Think about that perspective. You chose to come down here and forget all of your magic, forget all your powers, forget everything that you are, to help free yourself and to help free others. So when this stuff starts to pop up, this is where the silliness comes into play. Focus on that and remember that we signed up to go through this. We orchestrated this entire thing. We are the writer, we are the director, and we are the starring role in our reality. And so with that, we start to take control and take command over the way we want to see things, over what we want to manifest for ourselves. And we can start to do this even with our own health. So we can start to call forth, better physical health. We can start to call forth truth being revealed. We could start to call forth, better ways of being able to handle this. And yeah, it's really you take a command over your reality. Once you discover who you really are, you have full ability to be able to call forth what you need to call forth for yourself. And this is where we really need more people to stand up and to recognize that and to put their foot down and start to say no to this stuff now. Say no to it with compassion and love. And by saying no, it doesn't mean get in the street and get a picket sign and start screaming if that's your role. Some people, that's their role because that's what they consciously chose to sign up for. But for some of us, it's just saying, no, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to walk. When you say sit, I'm going to walk. When you say don't go, I'm going to go. Because I have a soul that's telling me exactly what I need to hear. I have a soul that I trust in and that I confide in. And I cannot trust anyone else if I don't trust myself and trust my guidance and trust my soul that's telling me exactly where I'm supposed to go and exactly what I'm supposed to do. And yeah, we're renegades. So the renegade hearts, some of us are renegades, and it's a little fun. I've actually been playing Renegades of Funk by Rage Against the Machine a lot lately. But right now overall is through all this discord and distortion that's being fed through the collective, we have an opportunity to say no to it and to kind of help others be able to dissolve this. It's really weaving through heavily right now, but we can also choose what we're going to participate in, and choose to really hold that vibration strong and speak out and speak up. but from a spot of compassion and from the heart space, because there are people that are really suffering out there. And that's tragic. There's people that are suffering, and there's also people that don't have a lot of money, that are in a lot of fear right now over healthcare. There's a lot of people that are in fear over not being able to afford things like hand sanitizer or healthy food, and that's disgusting to me. The silliness is in the orchestration, the silliness is in the controllers, but that's not silly to me. Having to see that is really sad, and it's heartbreaking, and we shouldn't have to live like that. That is not sovereignty. And this is where we have to call our power back. Remember that we are sovereign. But no more should people have to suffer like this. No more should people have to live in fear like that and live in pain like that. And so these are pieces that we are working through right now. So the call is out. The call is out tomorrow. Once again, a reminder, we're going to be focusing on the fear piece in my shamanism circle, in the galactic shamanism circle. So we're going to be doing some soul alchemy and removing some fear from ourselves. But best believe that there are some waves that are going to hit that are going to help us to clear this more and more at an individual level and really help at a collective level as well. These are big chunks that we need to move through. And those of us that are being called to walk, we're being called to stand strong and to walk with our head held high and our hearts open. Especially if you're in a masculine embodiment. It seems like there's more masculines that are being called to walk right now. And that's because we have an important role to play right now in the grids. We have an important role to play on the land. And yes, Ellen, thank you for mentioning that. I'm going to be connecting with people. So the idea of this trip is I know where I'm going to a certain degree. I know a little bit of where I'm going, but the idea is to connect with people. So if you're getting called to do the same thing, email me. Let me know where you're being called to go to, and we'll find a way to meet up and to co-create and do something. This is what this New Earth experience is about, is we connect and we create. There's a lot of community build-out stuff that's coming online that we're discussing, building out the crystal cities, people finding more of their tribe, getting relocated. So because of that, we have to travel right now through all of this. But it's really it's an interesting time to do this. It really is an interesting time. Flights are really cheap right now. No one's really traveling. It's opening up the roads for us. So I'm really actually happy and excited about the experience. But I'm happy to connect. So I know kind of generally where I'm going. I'm not airing that out too publicly right now. Just because in the meantime, I don't want any interference in what I'm doing. But people will know. People will know. I'll update people. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see what comes forth through this and how we start to build out these communities. And through this, guys, if you're out in the public day to day, inject love into the supermarkets. Inject love if you're around a doctor's office or a hospital, if you're going through an airport, just in your day to day, just set the intention to open up your heart and to activate everywhere you go and to cleanse out the space. Let your energy shine and just dissolve everything in its way. And then go out there with that powerful light shining and just go and just clean up. While some of us are being called to kind of clean up at an energetic level on our walks, we can do this in our day-to-day by focusing on our energy field, by where we go, being mindful of these energies are existing, and that we can call forth clearing up all this stuff as well. And there's many wonderful resources out there that discuss, how to do grid work, things of that nature. I am not in a place to really do that because I have a lot more to learn. And so I'm kind of going through my training with that right now. But really, you can inject love into everything you're doing right now. And this is something I promote a lot. Just go out and let your light shine really bright. And when you see someone suffering and they're crying, smile with them, laugh with them, hold that space to allow them to feel what they need to feel, and then help to lift them out of it. This is a really big part of the action sequence that we start to step into, and building out these communities is becoming a human again, without the human attachments and without the narratives that we run, such as being a survivor or a victim of trauma. A lot of this dissolution of everything is so we can start to step out in that infinite I am presence and just be our angelic selves. And so you can do that if you're feeling strong and you're feeling good. Go show up for someone else in a little way or a very big way, whatever works for you, whatever you're called to do. Listen to your soul and trust that. It really does help. And it will really help to shift this entire experience if we get more people on board doing that. Just as much as we have people holding space and allowing this to ride out as we keep focusing on more of the new that's coming forward. So anyways, much love and respect, guys, to all of you out there. I love you all unconditionally. I do have an email list back up, and I'm probably going to be typing more, doing more writing as I'm going through what I'm going through, because I'm just really not being, being called to talk right now. There's a lot of people that are talking on YouTube, a lot of people that are discussing things. I'm being more called to do more of the energy work, focusing on myself. So, there's going to be different ways I'm going to be doing updates and kind of shifting the way I do things as well. And that's a lot of it is just adjusting to new energies and integrating new aspects through this entire experience. So I'll put a link for the email list here in the description box as well. And if you want to come out to the circle tomorrow, it's going to be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm really excited to get that underway. So with that, guys, I love you all unconditionally. Much love and respect to everyone out there. I'm going to disconnect my energy from this session, leave this here, and let's just keep clearing the fear. And so if you get hit with energy waves, know what it is. If the fears come to the surface, let's just let them go, and let's keep shining. So I love you all, and I will see you on the other side. Namaste.